Hey guys, welcome back to Pokemon TCG Pocket. In today's video, I wanted to do a guide for the Charizard deck. Now, I want to do more than just a showcase of me playing it. I want to take a few minutes at the start of this video to really explain the functionality of the deck and what you're trying to do with it before we go in and I show you guys some replays. So hopefully, if you're trying to play Charizard, this might give you some tips that help you get some more wins. Now, before we get into it, we did just reach 7,000 subscribers on this new channel. So as a massive thank you, we're going to do another $100 giveaway in this video. Just be subscribed and leave a comment and you'll go into the draw and I'll announce the winner about a week away in a community post. Now, if you're looking for something to comment, let me know if there's any changes to the format of this video that would make it better for you guys as viewers, and also what decks you guys would like me to do this for next. So let's get into the Charizard deck. So basically, when we look at this deck, we'll go through the general lineup of the deck, and then I'll take you guys through some tips and strategies with it, the win conditions, the lose conditions, and stuff like that. So what you really want to run for the Pokemon lineup is these 8 Pokemon. You run the whole Charizard line, 2 OVs, and then 2 of Moltres EX. Anything more than this becomes bloaty, and it gives you a less chance to have an ideal starting hand and getting the pieces you want. So unfortunately, I tried a bunch of different other Pokemon in this build. I couldn't get any to work. Once again, someone else might come up with something, but this is the best format for me. Now, what essentially we have is the Charizard in here is our big beat stick. Absolutely fantastic card. You've got 60 damage on the slash, which is enough to kill most basic Pokemon in case they have one that you can get. And then we got the Crimson Storm, which basically one hit kills anything in the game, which is fantastic. We do have the discarding of energy. Now, then we have the Moltres, which is the battery for this deck. It is how you get all those energies on. And those are the 2 main things you do. So what you want is Moltres up front, charging up a Charmander into Charmeleon, into Charizard, and then you want to ideally, before you bring your Charizard out, when you bring him out to attack the first opponent's Pokemon, you want him to have 5 energies on him. That is if they are playing an EX deck, because 5 energy, you attack with Crimson Storm, you kill whatever it is. If it's an EX, you get 2 points, you're down to 3. The next turn you put 1 more on, you can Crimson Storm again, and then you've got them knocked out. Now, if you're fighting single prize decks, you might have to play around with that, just keeping in mind you can always do a slash to kill a basic or something like that. But in general, most situations, if you get 5 energy on this thing on the bench and bring it forward, you're pretty much going to win the game. Now, I'll talk about how you can actually lose in a minute, even with that setup. But let's get into it. So those are the basic Pokemon you want in the deck. Now, for staple items that I use is 2 Pokeball. 2 Pokeballs, fairly self-explanatory. Any deck that you're running more than like 2 basic Pokemon, you're going to be running 2 Pokeball in. Then we got 2 Professor's Research. This basically just shrinks the size of your deck. Fantastic card. Definitely worth it. Maybe this gets power crept out in a very, very distant future where you have too many other supporters that you really want to play and it clogs up with supporters. But in general, is a fantastic card. The other one is Sabrina. Sabrina is a fantastic card in this deck. Now, this deck uses it different to the way some other decks use it. Some other decks will use Sabrina ideally to snipe a benched Pokemon. This deck doesn't really do it like that because this deck has the Charizard, which just beats anything. So you don't need to switch to snipe something on the bench. So Sabrina is used defensively in the early game with this deck to slow your opponent's energy generation. Obviously, they could have X speeds in their hand and, you know, negate that. But if you can swap out the Pokemon that they have built up, which forces them to put an energy on another Pokemon to retreat it, then it actually buys you an extra turn worth of time to keep setting up your Charmander. So Sabrina in this deck is used heavily defensively. Besides that, those are the staples. The potions and the red cards you can sub out. Like I mentioned earlier, the Giovanni is something that you don't really need. You don't need that 10 extra damage on a Charizard in many situations, so it's normally going to be a dead card. So I run double potion and double red card. I have seen, I can't remember who it was on YouTube. I'll leave a link to their channel in the description. I'll pop it up on screen. But he essentially showed a strategy where he was using just fossils, like, you know, 2 dome fossils in this deck instead of the red cards, which I thought was a very great strategy, and it's something that I'm going to test a bit more, but that is something else you can do. Now, the fossils, maybe I'll do a whole video, but like I said, I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. You can check it out. The fossils basically are a way that you can put it on the bench early game so that if they Sabrina you, you can sacrifice the fossil instead of losing your Charmander, and then if you get your Charizard out, you can just discard it to the discard pile so that they can't Sabrina you in the late game. It's actually a great tech and something else you guys can definitely try out. But like I said, that is the basic play. Now, what is our win condition? Our win condition is pretty much one thing only. That is beef up a Charizard, bring it out, and kill. Now, you do have other pivots. What I often do with the Moltres EX is if you get it up, you use Inferno Dance. It all depends on the flips because you are going to be doing 3 coin flips and you want as many heads as possible to get those energy applications. But normally on the next turn, after I use Moltres EX Inferno Dance, I will actually apply the second energy to Moltres instead of hard placing it to a Charmander on the bench. Now, the situation can change depending on what's happening, but the reason I do that is it gives me the option on the next turn to retreat if I want to keep it healthy, or to put a third energy onto it and start heat blasting if it allows me to get more pressure on the opponent in the early game. It works really well in a mirror match as well against other Charizard decks to put pressure on. So that is something that you can do with the Moltres EX. It depends how many heads you flip and stuff like that in a certain situation, but often applying that second energy to it can be really good in a lot of situations. Now, like I mentioned, the biggest, we've got a few lose conditions, and that's what makes this deck, in my opinion, not the top tier, not up there with like Pikachu EX. It's that it does have a couple ways that you can lose pretty bad. The first way is just never drawing into your Charmeleon or Charizard. If you don't draw those cards in time, even if you have a fully beefed up Charmander on the bench, well, you're going to lose the game. Unfortunately, there's not much you can do about that. Another lose condition is if you just flip all tails. Like I've had games before where I do 9 tails in a row with my Moltres, and by that point you're just like, okay, luck was not on my side today. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Now, the other lose condition, as I mentioned, is to Sabrinas. So in the early game, you kind of want to load up your bench with extra Pokemon so that if they Sabrina your Moltres out, you don't have to bring in your Charmander and lose the Charmander that you're building up. But in the late game, once you've lost your Moltres, then you bring your Charizard up. You don't want anything on the bench because otherwise then they can Sabrina to your little Pokemon on the bench and defeat that and get through you that way. That's where that fossil idea comes in really, really clutch. But like I said, those are going to be your 3 lose conditions, is flipping a lot of tails, not getting your evolution line, or getting Sabrinaed for the last point, or for the early clear on your Charmander. Those are your main lose conditions. Like I said, the win condition is very, very clear in this deck. Get Charizard 5 energy, put him out. You can also, if your Moltres dies, you can put Charizard out when he has 4 energy, then attach the 5th one for the attack. You can do it with less depending on the opponent, but essentially get 5 energy on that Charizard, bring him in, swing, GG's. That's the game, and that's what you really want to do with this deck. So that pretty much covers the strategy of this deck. It's a very, very simple deck. You just want to have Moltres in front, Charmander in back, load it up, evolve it, bring Charizard out, and kill. And that is the strategy. Now, if you guys have any other strategies, please leave them in the comments, but that's pretty linear. There's not much crazy going on in this deck. You can play different pivots with using your second Moltres, retraining your first one when it's lost a bit of health, bring in your other Moltres, keep flipping and stuff like that. But I'm going to play some clips from my stream of me using this deck, and hopefully you guys can see how it works. But once again, be subscribed and leave a comment to enter the draw, and let me know any other decks you want me to see me do this for, or any other information you would like me to give about the decks when I do these videos, and enjoy. Let's see. Yeah, see, this is a bit iffy. We got no Pokeball. No Charmander. And like, water isn't the biggest threat to this deck. It's the bigger threat. Obviously, anything with Misty 3 heads is a threat. But the bigger threat is the electric. See, even a +1 on a Misty is bad, though. Because this puts us in a position now where I kind of have to use my Professor's Research to try and get another bench spot. Because if he has a Sabrina, he just wins this turn. So there we go. We had to do that. It's a very awkward situation with this deck. Because if I didn't have another bench and he just swapped and I was setting up that Charmander, I'm just boned from there. Actually, I probably could have Sabrinaed instead. That sucks, dude. My flip luck has been horrid today. The amount of double tails we got a Marowak into this. Oh, dude. We're just gonna have to Sabrina. And then we can red card, unless he places something. Okay. See, if we had got like 2 heads on that last one, we are cooking, but unfortunately we didn't. So we're going to Sabrina. Sabrinas in this deck are more to buy yourself time and hope they don't have X speeds. Because if he doesn't have an X speed, then he can't attack me for 80 next turn, which is a very important thing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and place on the Charmeleon because I have an X speed to retreat if I need to. But even if we get 3 heads, we're not going to retreat. Dude, stop. Stop. Six tails in a row. Actually, you know what? We'll leave it. We will leave it because if we get a triple heads, which we are bloody due for, we can still win. You know what's going to happen? Really needed a Charmeleon there because the problem is now we're once again at the mercy of the Sabrina. We need to get our other Moltres in hand because if he kills us, then we bring out the Charizard and kill it. He's still going to be able to kill me with anything else that he has with his Frostmoth because he's going to be able to place an extra energy. That's the unfortunate state of the situation when you land 6 tails in a row with a Moltres. And believe it or not, if he does not have a Sabrina, or if we draw into Moltres next turn, we actually win this game. As crazy as that sounds. And that's the power of Charizard if you actually get him set up. So he had a Misty Heads, we had 2 rounds of triple tails, and we still have a chance of beating him. That's where if you can just get the Charizard. The other thing is he can sleep us to death with his Frostmoth as well. So I really want to see the Moltres or a Pokeball. Gotta do it. Okay, that's good. And we've got 2x speeds. So this is the perfect situation. So the only way he can beat me now... the only way he can beat me now is through Sleep Hacks. That's it. Sleep Hacks is the only way he can beat me. So he got a Misty Heads, we got 6 tails in a row, and we still have probably, I want to say, an 80% chance of winning this battle. Because he can't Sabrina win, because if he Sabrinas, we put out Moltres, and then we just retreat. So we're actually in a really decent position. Welcome to your world playing Charizard. It is what it is. It is what it is. Heads. After all the tails we got on Moltres, we were due for that heads. And that's the beauty of the Charizard. What a comeback! Another water deck. Yep, and this is when you lose with Charizard. Watching Misty 2 heads, I'm done. You should not be allowed. I'm gonna try and surrender before he can attack. No! No! That is how stupid the game is. I was not going to be able to play the game. Moltres and a Pokeball. This is a pretty good starting hand. We've got a 66% chance to be really in a good position. Ooh, this must be an Alakazam Greninja deck. Dude, that playmat actually looks cool. I don't think I've seen it yet. It actually looks really cool. I hate the Eevee playmat because it's just too many colors and it just distracts everything. Okay, Pokeball. We right now have a 66% chance to essentially insta-win. And we hit the 33% chance. Yeah, I'm just going to do it. If I get card, I don't think I'll get carded because I think he's playing the Alakazam deck and it doesn't have room for red cards. We are in a very awkward position if we don't get that Charmander. Okay, and we don't have an X-Speed in hand, unfortunately. Yeah, X-Speed from the shop. I also think from the advanced tutorial missions, the advanced battling missions, I think you can also get one from there as well. But yeah, you don't get it in packs. Those ones in the shops, they don't put in packs, just so you get more cards that you're actually looking for in packs, which I think is a really cool thing. He must at least have the Kadabra. Do I place it on my Moltres so I can retreat it? Or attack next turn? I think I do that. I think I do that because I think I'm going to put the pressure on with the Moltres. Hopefully we get triple heads and then we're in a good position. Okay, now we're in a good position. Hey, I'm going to take that triple heads. We've had that many triple tails, we were due for one. Is there any good Gengar decks? Gengars and Trafalgar? Appreciate that, dude. Appreciate that, man. The Gengar, there is like an interesting Gengar with Psyduck where you just basically lock them out, but no, like... Gengar's an awkward one for like a full meta deck. Like it's a deck you can play, but it's not like on par with some of the other decks that we have. This is kind of awkward now. He's got me in an awkward position. Raffus with the Prime as well. Thanks, dude. Appreciate you. Because he doesn't have an Alakazam in hand because he's got no hand. I think we just do this. Oh no, I'm an idiot. I should have potioned. Because if I potion, he wouldn't even kill me with an Alakazam. Dude, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm a moron. If he Alakazam's here, oh, no, but he can't retreat. Doesn't matter. Okay. He can't retreat, so it's fine. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. I planned that, guys. I planned it. Yep. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's GG's. surely he starts poking... Why would you not start poking the Charmeleon? I mean, that sucks for him, but like, it wasn't going to have a massive impact. I just don't want a Charizard yet, because we need that 5 energy. Because we get 5 energy on... This is why he should have been poking my Charmeleon that whole time. It doesn't matter about potion now. So he should have been poking my Charmeleon the whole time. Yeah. Because otherwise, all I had to do is sacrifice Moltres, bring Charizard out, and then because I discard 2, I'd be down to 3 energies, which means the, what's-his-face would only be doing 60 and 90, which is 150, and I'm 180. Whereas if he had done 2 Greninjas on my Charizard, then I would have been in a bad position. Obviously, I had the potion, but he didn't know that, but that's what he should have been. You always poke... If you have Greninja, you always poke the Charizard. Like, that's just the play.